Good evening. Tonight I want to talk about what to expect when you get thrown in jail in Ontario. So, uh, so let's say the unexpected happened and you get arrested, and say here in Sarnia or London, Toronto, wherever. Um, First of all, most cases, depending on the charge or the offense, you will appear before the bail court, and that might take a couple days, but sometimes you may be released right from the police station, right from custody. Okay, and in that case, they'll give you kind of like a subpoena or a promise to appear to come back, and with some certain conditions. They'll release you on those, or just release you on your own recognizance. But what to expect in jail if you get thrown in jail is you pretty much there's a whole different set of rules by the inmates and by the guards. Okay, so you get thrown in jail nowadays. It's a very difficult time. You're going to end up in a very difficult situation because the jails right now are populating. The criminal enology in life is populating. Okay, there's crime everywhere, and that comes with the growth in population, as I was stating in my last video. So what to expect in jail is overcrowding situations. Uh, see you if you get denied bail, you will have to stay in jail, and you get remanded into custody or get released from custody, or you keep going to court until the judge deems it fair for you to be released. But if you're in jail, you have to make the best of it, whether you're on sentence time or doing dead time. It's better to just stay out of other people's lives to the best of your ability. It's very intense environment. So a lot of the jails I went to, they're double bunking and triple bunking, and that's like a very limited space, like maybe right around here. This is about it. Like the size of let's say the size of the washroom in your house or apartment, and you got three people trying to live in there. There's nowadays they got a lot of these cells have two cells. Like here in Sarnia Jail, they were pretty much double bunking all of them. So the last time I went to jail was probably about 12 years ago. I stopped going to jail and finally smartened up when I started leaving the alcohol alone. But before that, I spent a good part of 30 years in and out of jails and locked up in prisons and institutions due to my alcoholism and for some of the craziest things. Okay, so I'm not proud of some of the things I've done, and but during those times I made the best of what I could do. Okay, so there's some jails, the larger jails, larger institutions, uh, the food is very it's prepared for like 200, 300, 400 people. Okay, so it's not the best quality of food. You're in jail, right? So there's not much you can complain about. You either eat or you don't eat. And the other thing in jail too is trying to come up with a gig that you can, like if you can, that's a puzzle. Me, what I would do is I'm an artist, as you can see, and I would do portraits for the other inmates, and so I would get them to pay me their food or buy me stuff off of their canteen if they had money in their account. And all I would do is give them the mark on a list what I wanted. If it was chocolate bars, 10 chocolate bars for a portrait, whatever. Or like in the penitentiaries, it was cigarettes and cannabis and marijuana. So right now, I'm a big supporter of the marijuana cannabis industry, and I do believe it helps uh, help people straighten their lives out. But what I wanted to expand on more was what to expect in jail. Okay, so you got overcrowding, in a limited space. If you're a man, you have to pee like a woman on the toilet. So you got a toilet there with three. You got one man on the floor, double bunking, and you're locked up there. Sometimes if there's a lockdown, you're all three of you better get along, because if you don't get along, you're gonna end up tearing each other's heads off. You know what I mean? Like, it's very tense, especially in the Toronto jails. Some of the ones that I went to there. So everybody has to sit on the toilet to pee or to do whatever, and there's no flushing at night. So pretty much whenever you try to not to take a poop, try not to take a shit, right? Um, if you can help it, because you have to wait till you get out in the morning or something like that. But sometimes people do it during the night, and you can't really flush the toilet, otherwise you get punched out. So you have to cover it up. Sometimes people will keep it up covered with um, newspapers that you get in jail, so that the smell don't come out of the toilet. And same with when somebody pisses in it, right? When they sit on there and piss, there's no flushing at night. There's just absolutely no flushing there. You got lots of inmates, hundreds of inmates. You got lots of cells full of inmates. Some of them have 3 people each. Okay, and so they're very inhumane conditions to live in, especially a lot of the Toronto ones. With the more overcrowding in the jails, and the more the environments become tense. Okay, the more overcrowding there is, the more it's more prone to violence. Like some of the jails now are not as, are very, very rough. I know they were rough back in the day, but they're now, you got overcrowding, so you got murders happening in small town jails, right? Like here in Sarnia in London, and whereas you didn't have that happen very often. Only in the bigger institutions like the Guelph Reformatory and prisons like that. So now that's due to overcrowding and understaffed. So a lot of the jails now, they're understaffed. Okay, so a lot of these guards are going to jails in some understaffed environments. So where there's hundreds of inmates to take care of, right? And one guard has to watch over all these inmates from inside of a booth, and sometimes only 2 guards or whatever. And so I don't have sympathy for either side, right? Whether you're a guard or you're an inmate, it don't matter to me. But I'm just sharing with you what each is going through and why it's becoming more tense in a lot of the jails, and what to expect now. So if you're claustrophobic, you gotta try to live with that and get over it, because nobody cares in jail. Okay, you're claustrophobic because when you're locked up in a limited space. You're lucky to be let out of a cell, and you're on a day range, which is like the size of a living room, right? Or a convenience store. Some of the ones in Toronto, some of the cell blocks, they're what we call them ranges. Some of the ranges there, they're so they're so full, right? And some of them are big enough, like they're the size of a convenience store. You got your showers in there, and nothing is private. Forget privacy, okay? Even in your cells, like, forget privacy, okay? It's just doesn't happen very often anymore. About 30, 40 years ago, when it was less populated in these institutions, when we didn't need so many institutions, you had a lot of privacy. There were different times, like there were times that they had corporal punishment, so there was other times where it was just as bad as it is now. But as for the overcrowding, the violence becomes more rampant. Okay, so you got drugs coming into these institutions. Sometimes you might have a little bit of corruption. Your inmates seem to find a way to get drugs into institutions. Yeah. Nowadays they got all these different X-ray machines and stuff, so that you have to go through. So when you're getting booked into jail, they ask you a whole bunch of questions. who your next of kin is, who do we contact if anything happens to you while you're in jail, or if anything's going to happen to you. They ask you your first name, all the basics, right? Date of birth, and all that sort of stuff. The same thing is like if you're getting booked into a hospital, and so this could take a while, and you have to get outfitted. You have to get outfitted into clothes, the jail clothes. Like it's just orange jumpsuits nowadays. We call them pumpkin suits. We used to call them pumpkin suits when we were in jail, and so with the pumpkin suits, they're just jumpsuits that uh, you can wear them in court or while you're in jail. But mostly you have to wear them in jail. There's no street clothes in jail. Everybody wears the orange pumpkin suits, right? And usually, if you're wearing a pumpkin suit, an orange pumpkin suit to court, that just shows the court that you're not interested or you're not very optimistic about getting out of jail, right? So that's usually not a good thing to do. Usually, it's a good thing to just try to dress up in your civilian clothes, or if you got civilian clothes to go to court, dress as best as you can. You have to impress to get out, right? Unless you want to stay in. So, so once you're in jail, you go through the court process. You have to go speak to the charge, and then, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when you're getting booked into jail, used to that, everybody had to take a shower. I think in the bigger institutions, everybody has to take a shower now. But the inmates, once you get into jail, they'll make sure you do take a shower, because if you don't, they'll throw you, like they'll clobber somebody. They'll clobber you if you don't take a shower. Because like the general population's ranges are very keen on that, and they get people locked up in PC. Once somebody's locked up in PC, there's no turning back. You can't go back in the general population. So the protective custody is for people that don't get along, whether they might be uh, someone that likes to rat people out. Maybe they testified against somebody in court, or maybe they molested somebody. Maybe they're a rapist, whatever. They'll end up in the protective custody, and so there's even one after that. It's called super protective custody, and they might lock up police officers, ex-police officers that are convicted in places like that. So they call it super PC or P2. So there's P1 and P2. That's regular PC and P2, and general population GP. So general population, everyone has their own space. Whatever, do what you can. Do your own time. They say do your own time. Don't do anything to piss anybody else off. Okay, so like if you shave or anything like that, you clean up after yourself. You don't leave your whiskers in a sink, sort of a thing. There's everybody has to take a shower. Everybody's got to stay clean because it's noticeable right away if you don't take a shower. If you just come in from the street, they want you to take a shower right away. So that's definitely a must. So when you're in jail, you're going to see lawyers. First of all, you're going to go see a doctor, a nurse, and you're going to go see if you're on any kind of diet, special diets or anything like that, so they can put you on those diets when they bring you your jail food. That's what they'll see if you might be on a diet, special diet, or if you're a regular diet, like everybody else. So with the meals, you never touch anybody else's food, or you never reach across anybody else's food. You never stare at somebody too long, any longer than a couple seconds. The word goof is a no-no. That's just a trigger into an altercation, and so is just it's worse than calling somebody a rat. Calling somebody a goof is you're calling them like the lowest of low. Like a goof is someone that's just human garbage, considered as human garbage. Like someone that's just. I'm not going to elaborate too into that, but if you ever end up in jail, you don't use the word goof on somebody unless you want to fight with them. That's usually the word you use if you want to get into an altercation right away and fight somebody, and you don't whistle. Okay, there's nothing pleasurable about jail, so you don't whistle in jail. Don't ever whistle in jail. There's nothing. Please don't sing. Well, some people sing, I guess, but just there's nothing pleasing about jail. So try not to. Don't whistle. Okay, don't whistle at all because it's there's nothing pleasant about jail, and somebody whistling, it's very annoying when you're in jail. It echoes like crazy. It echoes beyond belief because jails have long corridors, and it's loud. Okay, it's loud. That sometimes if you're gonna whistle, that amplifies. It's worse enough as it is when people are just trying to read books and do their own thing. But a lot of times, some of these places are so crowded. It's not quiet. Okay, you got a lot of different age groups there. A lot of people like to gang up on each other now. Okay, so you got 3 or 4 people want to drag somebody into the shower and beat the shit out of them, or jump on them in the shower. Uh, that's how it was like when I the last time I went to jail, and not like in penitentiaries where it was in that sort of stuff was shunned upon, and when people had a beef with somebody, they either fought 1-on-1 or it's going to be 5-on-5, not 5-on-1 kind of a thing. So a lot of inmates are fighting like police now, police and guards. So where they'll 5, 6, maybe 10 guys will pile on one person. That's how it goes now. Okay, so there's no dignity in jail to begin with, really, if you're going to be in jail. So you're pretty much stuck there until you go to court. You're either go to court. That could be a few weeks from now, a few months from now, maybe a couple of years from now. Depends on what you're going up on, and so you have to make the best of it and tough it out. Right? There's not much more you can do. Just learn your lesson. This is not where you want to be. Okay, it's not where you want to be today. It's not good in there. Not anywhere in Ontario, especially Southern Ontario, because the jails here are more crowded. There's more people, right? So if you do not follow by the inmate rules, okay, you could find yourself in a lot of trouble and find yourself hurt. So it's the best thing to do is just keep to yourself. Don't involve yourself with card games. People like to play cards and play for dessert, play for meals. Some people like to be intimidating. They want you to do stuff that you don't want to do. So it's very hard to. So you pretty much have to be tough. In all aspects, in mind, and in physical fitness. Be able to handle yourself, and if you want to live a peaceful life in jail. And me, I used to just do my artwork and read books. I had a lot of respect no matter what jail I ended up in, because I just didn't involve myself with too much of other people's problems or what they did. I tried to keep quiet. Try to just be quiet and be to yourself, and don't be a loud person, and don't tell on anybody. Don't look into people's cells. You're not allowed to look into people's personal stuff, whatever people have. Okay, that's the last little bit of personal property that they have. So you never touch anybody else's stuff unless they give you permission, especially their food. You never ever touch anybody's food. So, excuse me. I just wanted to share a little bit about what to expect when you're in jail. Yeah, when you go to jail too. You're in go to trial and you get convicted. Now you have to go through sentencing. Now your sentencing might get put off to a later date, or you might get sentenced right there. And when you get sentenced, it could depend. If you get just a few days in jail, chances are you'll end up staying in the local county jail, like in your town, like Sarnia Jail, London Jail, or Middlesex Detention Center. Those are regional detention centers. So if they say like 6 months You get sentenced to 6 months. You have to spend 6 months in jail, 2 years in jail, 6 months or 18, 66. Sorry, 6 months, 18 months, whatever the case may be. You'll go to a reformatory. Anything over 2 years, you go into a federal penitentiary. So 2 years or more, you go to federal prison. Places like Millhaven, Collins Bay. Uh, for the women, it's Grand Valley Institution in Kitchener. So there's a lot of different. They got places for everybody. Now we got a lot of the super jails, and so these super jails are capable of housing up to 1,000 inmates. Hundreds and hundreds of inmates. Okay, so um, it's very wise to just not break the law. Try to don't break the law. Okay, think twice about it. If you got something that you love or someone that you love, your kids, think, put that ahead of you before you do something. Think about that. Even when you as drunk as you are or as high as you may be, um, you don't want to end up in a claustrophobic, violent situation. It's a horrible world in there. And thank you. Miigwech.